Hello, welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. Today, the Daniel Defense Delta 5 Pro. You may have seen the little quick intro video I did on this the other day. Well, still haven't shot it yet, but I'm here now and I'm ready to shoot. So we're going to get it zeroed, shoot it, bring some steel, have some fun with it. And then tomorrow I'm going to get to the range and do some, serious data recording from the bench. But today we're out on the farm, we can play about, shoot some steel, and it's all good fun. I'm using the Bog Death Grip sticks again because it makes my back get an easier ride, and with the microphone on here, when you lay down prone, it tends to garble when you're trying to talk to Mike. So there we go. I'm looking forward to this. I've got all sorts of different types of hornady ammunition, so I'll show you those in a second. And stick with us. Please like, subscribe, comment, and click the notification bell. More videos will appear the more you comment and the more you follow me. Thanks for watching. Well, this will be a good test now, Dave, because the plate's hanging sideways. I think it was a little bit left. Oh, nice shot, Christopher. I'm struggling to even see it now. That's an accurate rifle. Magazine is an AICS style. It's a Magpul 10 rounder. I'm just putting 5 in. Mag release is on the back here. It's ambidextrous either side. We've got a thumb rest there for the trigger pull. The trigger pull is super crisp. I have to say, muzzle brake performance so far is not only acceptably quiet, there is no noise transit through the stock. There's no resonance through the stock. I actually rather like it. I wanted to like this rifle because it kind of struck me well out the box. I am liking it. Anyway, let's have some more shots. Length of pull was from 345 to 385 millimeters to the trigger blade. That's 13.25 to 15.25 inches. Overall weight of the rifle is 6.2 kilograms or 13.6 pounds. And the overall length is 1180 to 1220 millimeters, which is 46.5 to 48 inches. When delivered, the trigger weighed 1440 grams or 3 pound 13 ounces. There's an Arca Swiss rail as well as M-lock down the full length of the forend, and there's the barricade stop. Well, if it wasn't for the huge hole in my finger, that would have been even better, but that is a super comfy rifle to shoot, and it is a super fast rifle to shoot. I think if it was mine, I might just go for a standard teardrop bolt knob shape on it. Other than that, well, I don't say this very often, but I don't think I'd change anything. The muzzle diameter is 23.2 millimeters or 0.918 inches on this 26-inch barrel with a 1 in 8-inch twist rate. Oh, I missed it with the last one. Right, I'm going to do this one quickly today, off the cuff, because it deserves it. You don't get joy out of a rifle that often. We had a little bit of a hiccup to start with because the scope that was on it, I couldn't get it zeroed. I didn't have the right tools with me to mess with the zero stop. So, you know, the joy of Picatinny rail. I nicked this Carles off one of the other rifles that was with me today. Sports match mount, Picatinny fit, boom, it was on. And actually it was almost zeroed because it had come off another rifle with a 20 MOA rail on it as well. So a few clicks here, a few clicks there. We were straight on at 200 meters. My first shot on the steel gong, it broke the shackle. The gong dropped sideways. This is all on video, so you'll see it. The gong dropped sideways, and I think the gun was shooting a little bit left at that stage. I hadn't dialed on the windage correctly for it. So I just, you know, aimed just slightly right of the edge of the gong, and I've got all the proof of the fact I smeared the next 4 bullets, which were all 140 grain ELD M's, and I smeared every single one of them down either the front of the edge of the plate or right onto the front of the plate and spun it backwards and forwards. And do you know what? When a rifle shoots like that, it immediately puts a bit of a kind of, there's something very right about this gun in my head. So let's start with what I don't like about it, or perhaps we should say didn't like about it. Okay, muzzle brakes, I'm never a fan. I actually didn't tighten it on fully because I thought I won't use it. Well, do you know what? I have used it. I've tightened it on. It's an anti-clockwise turn. It nips in place and it times up beautifully. And the noise is what concerns me about brakes. Transit through this rifle is minimal. Recoil is no big issue. It's only a 6.5 Creedmoor. But again, this cheek piece, it's not transmitting it through your skull. That's one thing I hate about some brakes on some rifles. But the world is moving on, things are getting better, and I am now being converted towards them. It's a super heavy barrel, and you know what? They haven't a half MOA guarantee on these rifles. I haven't tested it on paper. I don't even feel as if I'm going to try that hard to achieve it. I'll go to the range at some other point. I've got some various other different types of ammunition. I've got some monolithic GMX, 120 grain full copper, all sorts of Hornady selections. I've got some American Gunner, 140 grain boat tail hollow point. I've got 147 ELDMs. I've got some TAP FPD, which is 147 ELDM as well. So what else am I going to tell you about it? Okay. I need to put a slightly more solid bipod mount on it, but that's just one of those things that you'll do for your own rifle as to how you need it. I shot it off the floor prone to test, you know, how well I could load the gun, whether the bipod feet would lock in the ground, and it was very comfortable to shoot. Barricade stop's not something I'm going to use today because I'm not on any barricades. Magazine functionality was very good. I didn't have any stoppages at any time. The bolt dynamics are okay. It's a 3-lug bolt, 60-degree lift, and it is a replaceable bolt head because you can change the barrels on these as well. So difference in bolt head allows you to accommodate for smaller or larger Magnum cartridges. This is a 0.473 inch, you know, 308 bolt face. So good middle of the road. Bolt travel is excellent. Ejection is excellent. This bolt knob here, I think it's the standard 5/8 thread underneath it. I don't think I particularly like the shape of that bolt knob. I did chew the end off my knuckle last week, so I'm slightly susceptible at the minute, but I think I'd probably just go for a plain teardrop shape. But the bolt ran well. It does favour being pushed in towards the gun ever so slightly to stop it slipping, because it's quite a long handle, and if you do, you know, get a bit clumsy with it, it will lock and it will stutter slightly. But again, I believe this is all Cerakoted by the looks of it, so that's my feeling on it. The safety catch doesn't lock the bolt, which doesn't really matter on a sort of precision rifle, tactical rifle type thing. Again, you can read all the statistics you like on the publicity that Daniel Defence will publish themselves, and yes, it is spelt with an F-E-N-S-E, not a F-E-N-C as we would in English. So mag's good. I like the grip. Again, you've got slightly longer reach pull, so it's not the usual AR-15, you know, really super close squeezing in your own knuckle thing. That was nice. Feel on the trigger is excellent. There's about 1 to 2 millimeters, let's call it 2 millimeters travel on the tip of the blade, but there is no creep, and it's slightly heavier. I would estimate that's running at about 1,000 grams. Again, I'll wait when I get back to the workshop, because today is the first day out, but it is super crisp. And you know, that makes it easy to predict. You can get the pressure on it, you can build the pressure, you can time that with the, you know, slight variation in position, especially if you're not, you know, super solid. Prone's quite easy, relatively speaking, but as soon as you get propped on something, or you know, even on sticks like this on a tripod, it's not quite as stable. Let's get to the best bit. There's a little bit on camera with me adjusting this stock. Unusually on a chassis, and this is an MDT chassis, it's got cheek piece lateral adjustability. This made a huge difference. It was far comfier to shoot, and it goes up under your cheekbone without displacing your jaw. Forgive my silly dynamics on camera, but that's how I imagine it. T25 Torx goes in the top there, undo those and it'll slide either way. So of course that does make it, if needs to be, ambidextrous. To be fair, for offhand odd shots, I would happily shoot that left-handed anyway, because the grip, the rest of the stock is totally ambidextrous. Recoil pad adjustability is perfect, and of course, with it being a chassis system, quite a high bolt position, you know, that equates to the bore line. The recoil is pushing in, you know, high into your, you know, into the top of your shoulder. The gun isn't trying to lift and flip. So again, with another rifle, which has got nice handling characteristics with linear transit, and that's only made better by being able to drop it there if you need to for kneeling positions or something like that, or raise it up for prone positions where you can really get in the top of it, look down into it, and, you know, watching your bullets in on target at longer ranges. I was watching them in at 200 meters, which is not long distance. So if I can watch them in at 200 meters, I've certainly got no problem watching them in further. As I say, I did swap the scope. This Carles is an expensive unit. It has got beautiful image quality, and that's one of the lovely things about longer range shooting. When you've got the best optics, you can enjoy those little nuances a bit more. She's not saying the scopes can't do it, but you know, when you've gone to those, you do notice the difference. I like the finger adjustability here. It speeds things up, and of course you just nip it down on those two there to lock it in position. Being picky again, I'd probably go for a slightly different shape on that one, because when the cheek piece is right down, it does tend to bind a little bit on the top of that dial. But again, not a huge issue. As I've said before on other rifles, you do have to take the cheek piece out on this to get the bolt out. The bolt catch on this is recessed into the side of the rear action bridge there. So that comes out. Again, it's not something you're going to be doing every 5 seconds, and you know, a zip tie or just a little white spot or something on there, just a coloured dot. You'll see which way round that is, or rather how high you want to put it. It has got graduations on it, and number 1 is about right for me. I can actually have it a little bit taller than on many rifles because of that lateral adjustability, which helps it keep my head, my eyes level. I am a real stickler over that, and that was one factor alone that made me want to like this rifle and like this stock. I've had the Daniel Defense Standard in the polymer injection molding stock before. It shot well, it was a 308, so sort of, it was okay, it was fine, it did what it needed to do. I wouldn't say it brought joy to me. Everything about this rifle is wrong for my personal loves and desires. I'm not a huge chassis fan, I don't like muzzle brakes. Well, do you know what? I really like this one. I'm actually looking forward to shooting it more. Okay, it's got a great optic on it now as well, which makes it beautiful to shoot, but the comfort in the back end of this gun is just, it's a league apart. I will go as far as to say it's a league apart. Now, you've seen me recently using a lot of stocks, MDT chassis stocks. This one is the one to go for. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, it may be called the LSS or something like that, Plus, Pro, something. Because you've got big Arca Swiss rail underneath and everything like that, so you can adapt it however you like. Yeah, how am I going to finish up? I'll finish up after I've said this. Please comment, please like, please subscribe, please hit the notification bell. And here's the thing. Higher echelon for me, I'll say a scope, puts it in a visually relaxed environment. And you know what, this rifle? This is a relaxing rifle to shoot. It's an enjoyable rifle to shoot. That's a very rare compliment from me. Well done, Daniel Defense. Thank you. 26-inch barrel, 660 millimeters, and it has a 1 in 8-inch twist. In the end, I wouldn't say any of the groups at 100 metres really stunned me, but you know, there was some better performance. The full copper GMX tap FPD worked well in 140. We actually got a really good first 5 rounds out of the 120 GMX, but the second ones strung out a little bit. 140 ELDX. That looks alright. Again, not stunning, but a little bit left and right, a tiny bit of vertical. The American Hunter was probably the weakest of the lot, with a lot of vertical stringing. And, you know, it was a day where there was no particular problem with wind bumps or anything like that.